After completing the back piece, let's learn the front pieces. Divide it into left and right front pieces. Left and right refer to the wearing position. Let's start with the right front piece. It consists of section 1 and section 2. Section 1 starts with the chain stitches. Work back and forth in rows. Similar crochet method as back piece section 1, only the number of chains and rows differs. You will encounter a few new stitches. I will demonstrate the new stitches in order using a sample. First, let's discuss the DC2X tog. The method is similar to the DC3X tog. The difference is that work 1 less incomplete double crochet. Start by making an incomplete double crochet. Skip 1 stitch, then make another incomplete double crochet. Finally, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Wrap the yarn again, and pull through all loops at once. This completes the DC2X tog. Next, I will demonstrate the DCY stitch in section 1. There is a chain stitch in the middle. The method is similar to the DCY group. The difference is that you work 1 less double crochet. Start by making a treble crochet. Then chain 1 as a transition. Finally, pick up the 2 threads at the bottom of the treble crochet. Work a double crochet. This completes the DCY stitch with a chain stitch in the middle. For the double crochet Y stitch, do not include a chain stitch in the middle. Next, I will demonstrate the third new stitch, the treble crochet. The method is to wrap the yarn around the hook twice. Insert the hook, wrap and pull through. Wrap the yarn again, and pull through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 3 times. This completes the treble crochet. This concludes the new stitch for section 1. Follow the chart to complete section 1. After completing it, don't cut the yarn. This completes the crocheting method for section 1 of the right front piece. Now, let's move on to section 2. It is crocheted based on section 1. After completing it, chain to extend. Then crochet according to the pattern. You need to decrease stitches on the side closer to the neck opening. I will demonstrate the carrying yarn technique using a small sample. Now, I will demonstrate the carrying yarn technique. First, pull up the loop. Then, pass the yarn ball, or fabric piece through the loop. Next, gently tighten the yarn tail. Then, turn the work. Refer to the pattern to find the joining position. Directly pull the yarn through. Note that the carried yarn should not be too tight. Keep it flat with the fabric piece. It can be a bit looser. Then crochet normally according to the pattern. This is the method for carrying the yarn. Next, I will demonstrate the DC2 tog. First, make 2 incomplete double crochets. Refer to the pattern for the specific insertion points. Once completed, yarn over and pull through. This completes the DC2 tog. For the smaller size, you'll encounter a new stitch. TR3 tog. The method is to first make 3 incomplete treble crochets. One, 2, 3. Finally, yarn over and pull through. This completes the TR3 tog. This concludes the new stitch method. Follow the pattern to complete the right front piece. After completing the right front piece, crochet 1 chain stitch to secure. Leave a tail about 3 times the length of the last row before cutting the yarn. This concludes the right front piece. After completing the right front piece, let's learn the left front piece. It is divided into section 1 and section 2. Section 1 also uses the chain stitch to start. Work back and forth. When completed, cut the yarn. For section 2, pick up new yarn. Crochet chain stitches first, then crochet corresponding stitches on section 1. Note the to the last chain stitch after. Completing the third to last row for the small size. The ending should be at the stitch where the previous double crochet was made. And crochet 1 DC2 tog on the last stitch. Make sure to crochet it correctly. This concludes the crochet method for the left front piece. After both the front and back pieces are completed, ensure the right side of the second row faces outward. Place the back piece below. The wrong side of the second row should be facing you. Place the left front piece on the right side. Place the right front piece on the left side. Both front pieces should have the right side facing you. Then cut a few yarn tails. Temporarily secure the edges at 2 points on the right shoulder with yarn. To make it easier for everyone to see, I will secure the yarn ends in a random color. Next, evenly secure a few points in the middle. After securing the right side, thread the reserved yarn end from the left front piece into the sewing needle. If there is no reserved yarn, cut a length of yarn, about 3 times the size of the sewing area. Thread it into the sewing needle. Start sewing. Sew by picking the single crochet next to the edge. If you had picked up new yarn, tie a knot on the wrong side and secure it. To make sewing easier, I have rotated the fabric piece. The blue yarn end secured at the edge has also been removed. After tying and securing the knot, sew by picking the single crochet next to the edge using whip stitch. That means sewing with 2 strands like this. You can sew an extra 2 stitches at the beginning. Then start sewing 1 stitch to another. Follow this method. Sewing the shoulder area. As you near the end, if you find one side has an extra stitch, or is missing a stitch, you can pick up an extra stitch like this on one stitch too. Finish sewing this side. If they match, sew 1 stitch to one corresponding stitch. Sew the last stitch twice. Tie a knot on the wrong side and secure it. Weave in the ends. Take a few extra stitches. Cut the yarn. The right side of the shoulder is now sewn. The sewing method for the left side is the same as the right side. Just sew it up. After sewing, remove the securing yarn tail. I have already sewn this part. Next, sew the underarm area. Temporarily secure the first and last stitches at the edge. Use yarn to temporarily fix them. Secure a few more points evenly in the middle. After completing this, cut a piece of yarn, about 3 times the length of the sewing area. Thread the needle. Start sewing. Secure the yarn tail on the wrong side first. Sew the remaining 2 chain stitches from the front and back pieces together. Which is the entry position for the single crochet? For this side, pick up the 2 strands and sew them together. If you can't tell exactly, estimate the position and sew it using whip stitches. Sew an extra 2 stitches at the beginning and the end. Since the number of chain stitches on the front and back pieces are not the same, on the side with fewer stitches, pick the same position twice. Finally, tie off and weave in the ends. After one side of the underarm is sewn up, sew the other side of the underarm. I have already sewn it in advance here. This completes the sewing of the underarm positions. Next, connect the side edges of the body. It's also temporarily secured with yarn first. After securing it, turn the garment to the wrong side. Insert the hook into the edge stitch. Begin joining the yarn. After completing the joining, make one beginning chain. Work one single crochet in the same stitch. Chain 2 as a transition. Then, at approximately the same length as these two chains, insert the hook and work a single crochet. There is no specific entry position. Simply pick up a few threads from both the front and back edges of the fabric piece. Continue with 2 chains as a transition. Work one single crochet in the next position. There is no specific entry position for the single crochet, just make sure the fabric piece is flat. Keep connecting until you reach the underarm position. Finally, fasten off and weave in the ends. Make sure to weave in the yarn tails. This completes one side. The other side is connected in the same way. Connect it properly. I have already completed the connection here. Next, you need to work a row of single crochets around the neckline. I have marked it in the pattern with the words single crochet for the neckline. Refer to the pattern, find the joining position. Make one beginning chain. Work one single crochet in the same stitch. Next, follow the pattern to crochet single crochets on the right front piece, back piece, and left front piece. Refer to the pattern for the single crochet insertion points. Everyone, refer to the pattern and complete this row. Finally, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. This concludes the sewing and connecting the front and back pieces. The neckline section has also been completed. After connecting the front and back pieces, next, we'll learn about the cuffs. Join the yarn at the armhole. Crochet back and forth in rounds. Get the yarn. Start sewing from any armhole. At the underarm seam. I will start connecting the yarn from the chain stitch corresponding to these 2 chain stitches. Make 1 beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet in the same position. Then, pick up and work single crochets along the edge. Refer to the pattern for the specific number of single crochets. Work all the way around this circle. Finally, join with a slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch. The joining slip stitch does not count as a stitch, it needs to be pulled tight. This completes the first round of the cuff. Move on to the second round. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn the work. Work 1 SC2 tog. First, make 1 incomplete single crochet in the left side single crochet stitch, which is the last single crochet from the previous round. Insert the hook. Pull the yarn through. This completes the incomplete single crochet. Work 1 incomplete single crochet on the left side single crochet stitch. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all loops. This completes the SC2 tog. Work 1 single crochet on the left side. Work 1 SC2 tog for the next stitch. Work 1 single crochet. Continue with the pattern of working 1 SC2 tog. Then 1 single crochet to complete this round. Join with a slip stitch. The second round is complete. Now let's work the third round. Chain 1 to begin. Turn the work. Work single crochets in the stitches from the previous round, not increasing or decreasing. The total stitches should be the same as the previous round. When done, join with a slip stitch. The third round is complete. Continue with the fourth round. Chain 1 to begin. Turn the work. Work 1 single crochet. Then work 1 SC2 tog. If you are using lace yarn, you can skip the decrease. For this round, crochet 1 stitch into each corresponding stitch. For other versions, after completing the decreases, work 3 single crochets. Work 1 SC2 tog. Then, follow the pattern of working 3 single crochets. followed by 1 SC2 tog, to complete this round. This completes the 4th round. For the remaining rounds, work one stitch to another. Note that after each round is completed, turn the work. When finished, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. This completes one cuff. For the other cuff, follow this demonstration, and refer to the pattern to crochet. This concludes the crochet method for the cuffs. After completing the cuffs, let's move on to the front band and hem. The front band and hem are crocheted together. Note to leave buttonholes on the right front piece. Sew buttons on the left front piece at the corresponding position. The new stitch used is SC3 in 1, SC2 in 1. Please watch the demonstration. Get the yarn. Find the connection point between the right front piece and the back piece. Start joining from the first stitch position on the right front piece. If you can't find it, just pick any position and make one beginning chain. Work one single crochet in the same position. Then pick up the remaining 2 strands and work single crochets. That is the entry position of the first row of single crochets on the right front piece. Crochet all the way down to the starting point of the right front piece. After completing SC3 in 1, this stitch can be worked in stitch location of the previous single crochet. The SC3 in 1 is in the same position. Crochet 3 single crochets. After completing, rotate the piece. Crochet 1 single crochet in the first row of single crochet stitches on the left side. In the second row, crochet 2 single crochets. Follow the pattern and continue crocheting until reaching the single crochet position for the neckline. After completing, work 1 single crochet in this position, SC3 in 1. Also, work in the same position as the previous single crochet. Then, pick up and crochet single crochet at the neckline position. After completing the neckline single crochet, crochet single crochets along the edge of the left front piece. Then pass the starting point. Reach the back piece starting point. Then proceed to the front piece. and join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet of this round. After completing, join with a slip stitch. This completes the first round. For the following rounds, crochet back and forth. It's important to note that at corner positions, when making SC 3-in-1, if the corners become slightly misaligned in the following rounds, you can adjust the SC 3-in-1 into the middle stitch. You can move them forward or backward. Note that the right front piece needs to have buttonholes. Note that in the second to last round, you will encounter the SC 2-in-1 in the corner positions. I'll use this small sample to demonstrate the method of SC 2-in-1, which means 2 single crochets into the same stitch. This is the method for SC 2-in-1. After completing the front band and the hem, you need to sew the buttons at the corresponding positions for the buttonholes. Then, fasten them. Up to this point, the entire making method for this product has been covered. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.